Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Permission to Live in the End with Lisa Scott. Thank you so much for stopping by and being here. Just wanted to stop by real quick to talk to you about assumptions. And of course, start with a quote by Neville Goddard. The drama of life is a psychological one, and the whole of it is written and produced by your assumptions. Learn the art of assumption, for only in this way can you create your own happiness. I've been thinking about assumptions for the past couple of days and just thinking about a video that I did in the very beginning of the creation of this channel called Change Your Conception of Yourself. And I believe it was part one. That video where I shared about when I was 12 years old and I taught myself regarding a subject in school at the time that I was having difficulty in. And I said, if only the teacher would teach this subject in a particular way, I would understand this information. And I heard myself say, why don't you teach yourself in the way that you think this teacher should teach the information? And I ended up, I won't go into the whole thing because it's in that video, but I made an assumption at 12 years old after teaching myself a subject that I was having difficulty in, becoming a teacher, creating a imaginary classroom with children in it and all of that, and ultimately getting a B in that subject. I became the teacher, and I knew that I was a teacher at heart ever since that moment. There was also another assumption that I made at that time, though, and I think it's very interesting that I immediately started to ask myself, was I going to be a teacher of, children in a classroom working from, whatever time, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.? Was that the type of teacher that I was going to be? For some reason, I felt like I needed to ask myself that question. And the answer was no. So I knew that that was not the type of teacher that I was going to be, but I didn't know all the details behind what type of teacher I was going to be. But I knew I was a teacher. And, years later, fast forward, I became the teacher of something called process improvement for one of my largest, from my area, one of my area's largest healthcare systems. I became the teacher of something called process improvement, where I taught physicians, nurses, all the disciplines of the hospital, this process called process improvement. And the requirement of that role as an educator at that time would have normally required a bachelor's degree, guys. But I didn't have a bachelor's degree. But I was recruited into this position because, there are a whole chain of events that occurred, and I will share the videos, the links to those videos with you in the description of this video. But my point is that based on my own assumption of myself and saying that I was a teacher, not just saying it, but believing it and knowing that I was a teacher, that was my assumption of myself since I was 12 years old. And so, whereas other people perceive that they need to do certain things in order to achieve certain things, I didn't have that assumption. My assumption was that I was a teacher since I was 12 years old, and that assumption created a bridge of incidents that I didn't know anything about, that ultimately caused me to be able to teach educator or teach all the disciplines in the hospital that I was working for at that time. So I just wanted to stop by and zoom in on an example of how it is so, so true that it is by virtue of the assumptions that we're assuming about ourselves that is creating the bridge of incidents that causes whatever is going to manifest in our lives. So I'll end with a quote again. The drama of life is a psychological one, and the whole of it is written and produced by your assumptions. Learn the art of assumption, for only in this way can you create your own happiness. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by my channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share with whoever you love, and I'll see you on the next video.